Another year, another fantastic Marvin Harrison Jr. performance against the Penn State Nittany Lions. And if defense wins championships, the Buckeyes could go all the way.
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
For everybody that scoffs at the idea of what the Big Ten West is and the type of football that is on a week in and week out basis, this was a lot like a Big Ten West game, except a lot better talent. These defenses, both Ohio State and Penn State, have elite defenses. There is a reason why they are where they are statistically in college football. Both of these defenses are awesome. Okay, this isn't the best Ohio State offense that we've ever seen. This is not the best Penn State offense that we've ever seen. But if you look on the defensive side of the ball for both the Nittany Lions and the Buckeyes, these may be some of the best defenses that these schools have ever produced. It was a hard-hitting, smash-mouth, Big Ten-style football game, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. Man, Drew Aller and this Penn State offense, this was tough. Because this Ohio State defense, specifically this front seven, was living in the face of Drew Aller all afternoon long. It was a rare occasion when he was able to really sit back there, go through A, B, C, and D, go through his reads to get to that point, go through his progressions to be able to be comfortable. And I think a little of that goes on the receivers. We know that on the Penn State offense, and maybe you could extend this to the whole Penn State team, is these wide receivers are maybe the weakness of the football team. They don't have the talent that an Ohio State has. They don't have the talent that maybe some other schools have. We know about their O-line. We know about the run game. But when it comes to their receivers playing against a really good secondary, even without Denzel Burke, you saw the result. Multiple levels of this defense for Ohio State. They do it on the pass rush, even when they rush 3 guys or 4 guys. You see it at linebacker. The speed at linebacker for Ohio State flowing to the football is very difficult for Penn State to kind of run lateral and run east and west. But when the defensive line clogs up the middle and the backs got to bounce it out, you really see the speed of the linebackers. And then the defensive backs really completed the entire package that was Ohio State's defense in this game. The stat line was not very good for Drew Aller, and you got to give most of the credit to Jim Knowles and that scarlet and gray defense. Man, are they killers. They have really been improving in this pass rush the last couple of weeks, and that was a big matchup coming into this game. Penn State had allowed the least amount of sacks of a Big Ten offensive line all year long. And it's safe to say the Buckeyes won that battle, and this is a vaunted pass rush. They are really hitting their stride as a defense getting after quarterbacks in the middle of the year. In my preview, I thought that Penn State had just a little bit of an advantage at a lot of position groups. There's one position group that I said Penn State did not have the advantage, and that was wide receiver. And man, is that gap big because of one player. Marvin Harrison Jr. You know, it's crazy to think. I know Marvin Harrison is as talented as a player, a wide receiver we've seen in some time, not only in the Big Ten, but in all of college football. But he's had maybe some of his best games against Penn State, who has had talent like a Joey Porter Jr. a couple of years back. And you look at Kalen King and Johnny Dixon this season. He's having his best games maybe against some of the best competition that there is out there in terms of corners, in terms of the secondary back there. But when you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., I think the key for him, and I think Ohio State did a really good job at this, they moved him around multiple parts of the formation on split out wide, motion him into the slot, motion him out wide, going along the boundary, crossing across the middle, different route combinations, just different things. So Penn State couldn't really key on certain routes and certain things that Marvin Harrison was doing consistently because he didn't do a lot consistently. He did so many different things. I guess the one thing that he did consistently was make big catch after big catch after big catch. He can put this team on his back. He can win a football game at the wide receiver position, and that's not said a lot. We know quarterbacks can do it. right? And a few other position players can kind of do it at some points if they're good enough. But Marvin Harrison Jr. can continually get open. Kyle McCord, even though he was a little off on some throws today, you got to give Penn State's defense a little bit of credit for that. Marvin Harrison Jr., when he is open, Kyle McCord, the former high school teammates, they're going to get together. Kyle McCord is going to hit him when he's open. And he hit him in very key spots all throughout this football game. Two very different environments and two very different situations. But the way Drew Aller kind of threw the football reminded me a little bit of the way he kind of started out against Northwestern. Not in sync, not on the same page, not clicking with his wide receivers. And I know it was a sleepy Saturday morning earlier in the season against Northwestern, and it was a rockin' horseshoe in Ohio Stadium. You couldn't find too bigger a contrast in terms of stadium atmosphere. But I think in terms of 15 and white, in terms of Drew Aller throwing the football, it looked a little bit similar throughout the entire game for Ohio State early in the game against that Northwestern. They got to figure out this pass game, I think, going forward. Okay, that's where Penn State kind of sits right now. We know that this is a team that can run the ball early in this game. Penn State was running the football effectively. I thought they maybe should have ran it more. This Ohio State defense really buckled in and really swarmed to the run game a lot as this game went on. But I think a lot of teams are going to turn on this tape in the future when they play Penn State and they say, we bottle up this run game, we might have a chance against the Penn State Nittany Lions. That's something that a lot of teams are going to look at. And Penn State, you got to get it going because there are going to be days when your run game isn't going to be the tops in the Big Ten run game like it has been. You're going to need Drew Aller to go out and make a play. They haven't asked him to do a lot this season because of just the way their offense is structured. Kind of a lot like Michigan. Sometimes they don't ask J.J. McCarthy to do a lot. But I think this game proved that there's going to be situations. They play Michigan in State College later on this season. Drew Aller is going to have to make some plays at some point. Throughout this game, I really loved Ryan Day's faith in his defense. He had 100% confidence in the Ohio State defense and what Jim Knowles was calling and the position that Jim Knowles was putting this defense in. Man, if this team can get clicking, right, if Kyle McCord continues to get better and he continues to improve, and man, this Ohio State defense, they are killers, man. They are killers. They get Denzel Burke back in that secondary. This could be college football's best defense. And that is a nightmare for the rest of college football because everybody knows year in and year out what you're getting on the offensive side of the football for Ohio State. And that's scary enough. But now if you have maybe the country's top defense, oh boy, Halloween's coming, and that is spooky. I want to hear what you guys think from this matchup. Do you think Ohio State, have they established themselves now with a tough road win against Notre Dame? And now this win over Penn State. Do they have the best resume in college football right now? Want to hear your thoughts also on Penn State. Where do you see them after this game? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Big Ten Ted. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.